Google just released their new Stitch update, which is kind of cracked. There are some things that are not the best, but we're gonna go through all of that. I basically designed 13 different web apps and apps in under 5 minutes using this, right? So to start using Stitch, you want to go to stitch.withgoogle.com, and here you will basically be able to select if you want to create an app or a web app, and then select your model. I recommend for the beginning to always use 3.1 Pro. Now, a cool thing about Stitch is it's going to give you about 350 generations completely for free. This means that you can do a hell of a lot with that. On top of that, in the description below, I provided a Stitch prompt pack where you're going to get the best practices for using Stitch, which comes from their whole documentation. This means that you're going to learn how to use design adjectives and mood words, for example. You're going to have an anti-slop checklist, which you can also use. Design the templates. You're going to have design styles. You're going to have examples, which is what I built for this video, basically. The email warm-up service, for example. So I'm going to take one of these and we're going to put that in there. And what you're going to be able to do with all of these files is you're going to be able to download them and upload them into a project in ChatGPT, Claude Cowork, Claude Code, and you're going to be able to use that context to create your own prompt for what you want to create. Now, keep in mind, there is always a better way to do things, but this is going to give you, take you at least like 75% there, which is better than any of the other videos which I've seen. And that basically achieves my mission. Let's look at the designs that Stitch came up with and also see what you can do once you have the designs if you want to expand upon them, for example, right? So this is what it generated now. And this is from the prompt on generated a project board overview. What we're going to get is a design system, and we're going to get the actual design that it comes up with, right? And this happens here as well. Here. Here's a hot sauce. We got Stitch. We got an app, which it seems to do really well with. We got a Portland field notes, which looks pretty dope. But of course, there are issues with every single design that we need to take care of. So looking into this, let's go to the design we have for our mail list here. So we have our design system here, and let's say that for instance, I want to go to kit.com and I want to extract their design system for their email, which would be how I want. Maybe I want mine to look like this, right? So what I can do is I can modify this, I can edit, and I can now go to design system and I can import from website, and I can now use kit.com as my inspiration for my design. So what it's going to do now, it's going to extract the design system from kit.com, and now I can basically replace that whole design system with Kit's own design system. So this means that if you know a website that you really, really like the design of, I forgot I had my AirPod in. So if you have a website which you really like the design of, you can just take that and import that into your own design system. Take Stripe, Zapier, Facebook, whatever you want, really. So here's where it's good to have a little outlook on what kind of websites are out there. And you can use such things like awards, for example, for checking cool website designs. And then you can basically just take their whole domain, import that into Stitch, and you're going to be able to take all of their colors and their design system. And what you can also do is you can even use a extension like Go Full Page, which I'm going to link in the description below, which basically is a full page screen capture. Now, if I wanted to, for instance, copy Kit's whole website and the way they set it up, I can click on the Go Full Page. It's going to go through the whole website, and it's going to give me an image of everything on that website, right? So while we're doing our little project here, we can go back and I'm going to just add that image and I say, I want you to come up with a 1-to-1 copy of this website that I sent an image of. Now, call me a thief, but I think basically modeling after what we know already works, especially when there's a multi-million-dollar company behind it, is a pretty good idea. But what we need to make sure of is that we add our own personality, our own images, and we merely take inspiration from it. Once again, Good artists copy while great artists steal, and then they improve upon stuff, right? Cool. So it's now still extracting the design system. Once that's done, it's going to show up here. And now we can reprompt website or our design to basically use that design system. But for now, let's just jump ahead into the video. Here's another design. This is for a little client project tracking view. I'm not the biggest fan of this design. So what happens when we don't like a design and we kind of want to see what could have been? Like, can we do something here to basically make it so we can try to get a new scopes of what it looks like, right? So I would do variations, and we can now create 3 different variations, and we want to reimagine, explore, or refine, right? So we can do subtle changes, we can do creative but nothing crazy, or we can reimagine the whole thing, right? So I want to reimagine the whole thing, try new colors, new font pairings, and also a symmetrical layout. And we can now select here what we want to vary. So we want to vary the layout, we want to vary the color scheme, I want to do the text font as well, and then we can generate the variations. Now this means that now we can create variations on the fly, and then we can take the variations that we like, or just simply take elements from each variation that we like and infuse them into our bigger project, right? So it's going to generate that, and while that's doing that, we're going to jump ahead here. So this is a hot sauce little website that we created, which is, I like the style, it's pretty cool actually, and this is like one of the best. This is completely one shot. So if I have a design that I really like, right? What I can do now is I can right click this and I can now select instant prototype. This means that I will now be able to interact with my website and I can start building out the pages. Since I like this design already from the start, well, obviously I can also go in and do a little bit of refinement, but for now, I think this is pretty cool. So what I want to do here is now I have an interactive experiment, or an interactive version of this page. So I want to click on edit here. I'm going to go down to the button here, and I want to say imagine a new screen. This basically now is going to think, what is the next logical step in the order of where I'm pressing this button, right? So since I'm pressing the add to cart button, well, obviously it's going to probably go to my cart, or it's going to go to a product page. I guess we'll find out. So let's check up on our older little projects here. It's still extracting the design system. So one thing that we're noticing here is that Stitch is not the fastest. But if you have the patience, you're going to be able to do your design process before you start vibe coding it inside of any sort of tool. It's still generating for the Basecamp as well. And it's also generating the page here. So I guess what we're going to do is we're going to jump ahead and then we'll come back to these later as well. All right, so here's a little thing. Okay, so this is cool. So I generated all of these at the same time, and as we can see, it kind of errored out and started messing up the whole design for me. So it didn't actually finish the design. But how I fixed this was basically telling it, hey, you didn't finish the design, if something went wrong. Here is the new thing that it came up with, which looks very, very clean. Now, obviously, these images are AI generated, so you want to basically replace this with your own. Now, if let's say that we want to replace it with our own image, right? So let's say we take this image right here and we go back to our message and then we modify, we can edit. Okay, it seemed that didn't work. Okay, let's see if we can Control Z back. All right, it doesn't seem like we can Control Z back. All right, let's skip ahead. So if I want to basically replace an image here, so obviously you can see that the stitch here, it went out. Maybe if I refresh the page, it will work. Yeah. So one thing that's worked, if something is doing wrong inside of Stitch, you can just refresh the page. Now, if I want to edit this page, I can say, I can do edit. And what I'm going to be able to do now is if it, okay, so it errors out again. So I can basically here edit the text on the fly based on what I want. If I press the edit. Now, obviously this one went a little bit haywire and didn't allow me to, yeah, so it's now saved the old version. So learning here, don't try to generate 1,000 things at the same time. So one thing that I'm noticing here with Stitch is that it is fantastic and absolutely phenomenal doing what mobile app design. But I want to implore you to actually start learning Stitch now while it's still early, because this is only gonna get better. Imagine that you had millions of users designing every day. You're teaching Google's models how to design better all day, every single day. This means that once this becomes even better, you're gonna be able to create some crazy stuff. But now is the opportunity of a lifetime to do this right now, because you're gonna be able to create designs that nobody else is able to and sell that to people, right? So you might join Upwork, you might join and do cold outreach. You might, I think Nick Soraya even did a cold outreach course just a few days ago. Go check that out. It's super. And so this is really, really nice. What I'm noticing here is that it's just a really cool design. What we can do, we can change the design system, reimagine it. We can take this whole design and we can be like, this is fantastic. I really like the way this is designed. One thing we need to note, when we enter design into Claude Code, for example, the way the previous things are designed are gonna affect how next things are designed. So since this is a design system, the next things we design within Claude Code for new screens are gonna be just as good as this. So what we can do is we can now take that and design, we can export it to AI Studio, for example. We can export it to Figma. We can copy the code to clipboard. We can copy it to MCP. So we can then connect our Claude code to this whole design system and extract it in and build our apps from that, right? How sick is that? You can do instant prototypes as well, which is connected into an interactive flow and then share it. If you want to have like a handoff system where you want to review the stuff that you've been working on. For now, you can basically build this whole thing with AI Studio. It's going to extract the images. You can hot link. I'm feeling lucky. I guess we're just going to let it build that while we are waiting on our other things. Let's check back. How is it doing? It's still extracting the design system, which means that it's probably errored out. I'm using way too many screens. But what you need to know is basically, if you want to modify, go to edit. You can go go back here, press plus, and you can import from a new website the design system of whatever you want. Select that in main color, modify that as well if you want to, and you can modify that, change it to whatever you want, and then tell it, hey, use our new design system to fix that. Cool, let's jump ahead. This is pretty cool as well. It's a little bit here and there with its actual things, but you can use the process that we've been doing in this video to basically reimagine it, come up with variations, or refine it, right? Now, let's do this one for editing. So I created a prototype here. So I right click, instant prototype, and now I have a prototype right here. I can go into that prototype, I can go into edit, and now I can edit all my text however I want. Do the text or button here, imagine a new screen. I can even say, I want to change this button, right? So I want this button to be orange and pop out nor where it's the animation. Right, so we can now do specific animation or specific edits to our designs, which if you were doing this inside of Claude Code, you know that this is really hard. Just drop my pencil. It is really hard. That's my monster right there. Anyway, so also here we also have a dashboard. We also have this gym. And what we're noticing as well is that it's really good at coming up with concepts like this. Claude Code really sucks at making anything else but flat designs unless you have a pre-existing design system. So yeah, you basically just take this, iterate until you're happy with it. And this is ugly, I'm not sure. So it's not 100% as you can see, but it is definitely way better. Look at that. My God, that is so good. Shit, this is amazing. Look at that add to cart button. This is so nice. Now we can right click here and imagine the new screen. So what's going to happen? Well, it's going to go to the checkout page. This is phenomenal, right? So you can really find these magical like design systems or where you just get lucky, right? So guys, take the prompts and the whole folder in the description below, add it to your Claude cowork, and you're going to be able to prompt some pretty cool websites with that, put that into Stitch, and then play around with it. Find new ways that you can use Stitch to your favor, right? Okay, we just got our things here, and you can see we have different types of variations. I like this variation a lot more. Like, we got our project management dashboard, right? So anyway, guys, that's the video. Go use Stitch. All right, we also had the reimagining of this one. It's made the core of it, and it's gonna basically make me a one-to-one copy. Try that out. Do the one-to-one copy. That's the video. Check it out. Subscribe for more. Join the school community if you want to learn some stuff. Yeah, I'm all over the place. You're gonna have to be fine with that. Take care, guys.